Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Watcher, what's good, man? Wait till a few people get up in here. See who all show up. Hopefully, start getting more activity, man. Now that I'm more active on here, because I know sometimes when you stop being active and your channel becomes stagnant and a little bit dormant, even if you do have 15,000 subscribers or close to 20,000 like I do, once you start coming back after being out for so long, man, you don't really have that many people jump on your lives. At least that's what happens with me. Because when I'm hot and rolling, I can have up to like, shit, I've had like, 150. I think that, like 200 was the highest I ever had at one point. And then once I start not doing videos and not being around for months and months and months, I'll be lucky to get, 50 people in here sometimes, 20 people. You know what I mean? But once I continue to be more active, man, then the numbers should be up to that 100, close to 200 sometimes. True School Sports, what's good, bro? Timothy Moten, what's good, Tim? When's your next fight, man? Timothy Moten up in here. Camille Oz, what's good? Pay no mind, what's good, brother? Let me go ahead and do this for pay no mind. Hold on. Add him. Wheelchair champion, what's good, bro? November 14th, Tim. Where's it gonna be at? Is it a hometown fight? Is it gonna be in Louisville, or where you fighting at, bro? Go ahead, let me know so I can let everybody know. Timothy Moen's up in here, man. He was a part of getting Anthony Joshua prepared for that second Ruiz fight. He's actually the one that started that. Was it the two times? Yeah, two time. Yeah. Shout out to Tim Moen, man. Ron Burgundy's up in here. James Daggs, what's good? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking a little bit. So, read an article yesterday. I seen Anthony Joshua is we all know that he tweaked his knee. James Coleman was good. We know that he tweaked his knee, and they're saying, well, he came up. There's an article already yesterday on Boxing Scene saying that his knee is fine. He's back to training, and then Anthony Joshua said in that article that he will be back sparring in the next week or two. All right, so that lets me know that he still needs a little bit more time for it to heal, and they're probably taking some precautionary steps, which is the right thing. You know what I mean? But that's the last thing AJ wants, is to not for his knee, or his one knee not to heal the right way, because in that rematch with Ruiz, that's what he used was his legs. He definitely needed that Reed G's in the house. That's right, smash that like button. DB was good, bro. South Central up in here. But it's good to hear that AJ is that he'll be sparring the next week or two, man, because we definitely need him around for the heavyweight division, man. Unified champion, so on and so forth. And he's one of the brightest stars in boxing, and definitely in the heavyweight division. So it's good to hear that he's back, man. I don't want none of these guys to be sitting out with injuries or nobody to be a part of this. I want everybody a part of this. So when the smoke clears and dudes fight, I want everybody involved. You know what I mean? So it's good to hear that AJ's back. And for those of you, man, that didn't hear me say this, I'm loving AJ's new attitude. I seen he went live. He was talking about, can't nobody tell me shit. You know what I mean? Talking about fans and all that. I like when fighters have that edge. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you should be an asshole out in public to fans, but I like that edge. Look, it's okay to have an edge. You know what I mean? You don't have to be PC, say the right thing all the time. Like, come on, man. Especially with the shit that's going on in this world nowadays, man. Just be real. Just be yourself. For me, for my sake. You know what I mean? I'm not Nike. I'm not Under Armour. So you don't got to talk like that to me as a fan. You can talk to me real. You know what I mean? I like for people to talk to me real, not all that corporate bullshit, man. Just be yourself. So, and AJ said some things that he felt, they were kind of, some people looked at they were political things, but shit, man, if he says something, he really stands by it, and he's not going to double back and say, no, see, what I meant to say was, because I don't want to ruffle no feathers. Nah, man, be who you are. It shows the character of a man that you are, man. Especially if you stand on it and you really believe in it, man, say what you want to say. You know what I mean? especially if you really believe in it, not some shit you just say for shock value. Um,
Okay,
Truce,
first question.
yeah.
If Jack signed with Jay Prince, does this mean that he's not affiliated with PBC anymore?
Who said that? Kamal.
Kamal asked.
Um, I'm not sure, Kamal. I'm not sure, man. I think Jay Prince seemed like a very smart man, so I think Jay Prince is going to try to set FA up for whatever's best for him in his career. So if that means a PBC fight here and there, and look, I thought Ajag was doing good on PBC. They're giving him some pretty good competition for a guy that just turned pro. I thought the Ali Demirezen was a good setup for him. Ali Demirezen was a Olympian himself, a good fight. He got in there with who the fuck knocked him down? Was it Kiladze? I think it was a fight he had with Kiladze that the FA Jabba got knocked down in. But FA's has some pretty decent scraps, man. So I think they're doing good with him. You know what I mean? Then he fought the other crafty journeyman, Hernandez. Forgot the cat's first name. But I think Jags has been set up nice. So if he is with Jay Prince, I think Jay Prince has a track record for doing what's best for his fighters, man. So I wouldn't put it past that he won't be able to get another fight on PBC, but I'm not sure what Jay Prince has planned for FA, man. Jupiter B was good, bro. Lawrence Williams was good. Hey, Lawrence, I seen that message you left me. I'm gonna get back to the comments in a minute, but I seen that message you left me, bro, saying that Darmani Rock, the undefeated heavyweight prospect out of Philly, supposed to be trying to get a fight with damn, who did you tell me he was gonna fight, bro? I forgot. I just read the comment too. Uh, uh, Darmani Rock. You can leave it in the comment section. But I forgot. Oh, Carlos Negron. And Negron just got them beating Roberto Alfonso, who was an undefeated Cuban fighter who's been in a lot of Deontay Wilder training camps, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So if that fight is written in stone, Negron versus Darmani Rock, I think it's a good step up for Darmani because he's in fight nothing but just pure journeyman. You know what I mean? At least Negron was in there. He had a little tussle with Brazil. You know what I mean? Negron's been stopped in some fights, but shit, he won his last fight in a fight that he wasn't favored. So I think that'd be a good fight style-wise, matchup-wise for Darmani Rock if that fight comes to fruition. Because Negron's a big 6'6" dude. He knows how to. He has some good, decent skills. Quick hands for a big guy. Probably not the best chin in the world, but shit, when a heavyweight, man, these dudes get to swinging that leather around. They all well over 200 pounds. Anything can't happen. So if that fight does come to fruition, I think it's a good step up for Darmani Rock, and it's another opportunity for Carlos Negron to get another undefeated prospect in there and maybe shock the world again.
How many fights do you think Ali won against Norton? Someone was trying to convince me he lost all 3 straps against Norton
Who's
from Grimbus 08.
Grind? Oh, Grimbus 08?
Yeah.
Man, Grimbus, that's a good question. You're asking me about Norton and Ali. Look, man, I'm a huge Ali fan. You guys know this. Ali, Larry Holmes, and George Foreman are my 3 favorite fighters. So I don't think Ali beat Ken Norton one time. Maybe the second fight, bro. But I'll say at the very least, Ken Norton got 2 out of 3. That's just my opinion. I haven't watched those fights in a while, but from the last time me checking that out and going over there, man, you can argue Ken Norton beat him all 3 times. Especially that last one, man. That was just a fucking robbery. And I'm a huge Ali fan, but right is right, wrong is wrong, man. I thought he just outdueled Ali, out hustled him. But it is what it is. Hey, I appreciate that $2 holla from my man D-Style Boxing. He says, Uvo, throwback panel in August would be epic. Hey, is Uvo still around? Can you even download Uvo anymore? Is that shit even around anymore? Uvo? Well, if they do got it, yo, you can add me in on the Uvo Brady Bunch boxes. I'll jump up in there, man, do it old school with you. What's the next question?
What do you think about Jared Big Baby?
Anderson?
Yeah.
Jared Big Baby Anderson, the big crafty young heavyweight that can go righty to lefty. I like him. Just want to see more of him. You know what I mean? He puts his punches together well. He's comfortable going right to left. It's not like he goes right or goes to orthodox because for different reasons. He just does it kind of instinctively. You know what I mean? So it lets me know he's been working on that. Now, will it work at the top level against the best of the best? I'm not sure, but he seems very comfortable doing that. Seen him on ESPN Plus a couple times. I like the kid. You know what I mean? Maybe him and Jarrell Miller need to fight over the big baby title. We supposed to turn somewhere?
Nuh-uh.
We must have
Oh
missed a
yeah,
turn.
we
We
missed a
tripping.
turn.
You know what I mean? But I like Jared Anderson, man. I know he's sparred with Tyson Fury. I like the kid, man. Want to see more of him.
Is
You know,
Usyk and Chisora still gonna happen?
Usyk and Chisora.
Yeah.
Shit, the last I checked was supposed to happen, but with this pandemic and everything got pushed back. So I would assume it would still happen. I got my wife reading off these questions, man. I'm horrible at this. We're supposed to turn right here.
Yeah, yeah. You already answered the Carlos Negron and Darmani Rock question.
Yep.
See if there was
Right
any.
hook boxing was good. Oh, D-Star said you're going to make it look like Uvo.
Yeah, yeah.
Jupiter B says Kid Norton was a very hard matchup for Ali. Yeah, man, style matchup wise. Kid Norton was a hard matchup for anybody that was like a pure boxer. Like if your thing was stick and move, that type of thing, quick 1-2s and move out the way like Larry Holmes and Ali, he was a tough matchup, man, because he was just awkward and he struggled with big punchers. I know Jerry Cooney called him late in his career, but the fight with Big George, Ken just seemed like he struggled with punchers, man. If you threw a guy in there that could stick and move, either no matter how great he was, Holmes or Ali, he can deal with those guys better. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have enough power to knock him out. They had enough power to buzz him and stop him in his tracks, but not really to knock him out or from keeping him from coming forward. Then he had that defense where he was like kryptonite to jabs. Those quick flicking jabs from the hip, the way that Ali and Holmes used to like to throw them. Norton just had he had that cross arms, Archie Moore type of joint, that defense going on where he was just hard for quick guys to pick their quick spots to land quick punches. He just made it hard for them.
The heavyweight division post Wilder isn't looking fruitful. He's been carrying the USA flag so for 6 years. Do you agree?
Do I agree that? Look, man, I don't agree because you're basing it off of what though? If you're basing it off of because you don't see nobody who said that question?
GTR. He didn't ask if you agree. I just asked if you
Oh,
agree with him.
GTR said that. There's a lot of guys out there that seems if they have better fundamentals than Wilder, right? That's coming up, right? Jared Anderson looks like he has better fundamentals, but we all know it takes more than fucking fundamentals to be successful in boxing. But if you're looking at if you're just saying like skill level, I think there's a few guys. I think Stephen Shaw has good skill level as a heavyweight. Do I think he punches Deontay Wilder? No. Do I think he brings certain intangibles that Wilder brings? No. You know what I mean? Wilder will go down as an all-time great heavyweight. And I'm not here to troll and all that shit, man. Anthony Joshua will go down as one, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. And I'm not here to play troll games, all right? That's just the fucking truth, man. All right? So I'm not here to play games right now with this, all right? Wilder will go down as all-time great, so will Fury and Anthony Joshua. But what I will say, whoever's up next got some shoes to fill, man, because Deontay went on that, 11 fights of defending his WBC title. You know what I mean? Just not anybody can do that. I'm not trying to hear he didn't fight nobody, and man, that shit's hard to do. If that was just so easy, everybody would have done it. You know what I mean? But as far as up and coming USA guys, I guess we'll see, because back in 2007, 2008, they were saying the same thing. There's no Tyson, there's no Holyfield. Yeah, there is no Tyson and Holyfields around. People got to make names for themselves, and that's what Deontay Wilder was able to do, make a name for his fucking self. So one of these dudes gonna have to just make a name for themselves, man.
Is the WBA going to order a consolidation of its heavyweight belts? AJ, Bryan, and Char. Seems like Bryan and Char are not that active. So Bryan has a fight with the Lovejoy.
Look, man, the WBA has been talking about eradicating all those little minor titles, the regular and the interim and the whatever fucking else when they got the platinum, the whatever they got out there, all them weird ass belts. They've been talking about this for about 3 years. I did a video, and that video has to at least be like 3 or 4 years old, man, when they came out and said that we're going to have a tournament. And I think it was like Ortiz versus Ustinov was in the tournament. The winner takes on Klitschko Fury. This one, Klitschko and Fury had their rematch going, but it never happened. Then the other side of the bracket was like Lucas Brown versus Freza Kendo. It was so long ago, man. I didn't forget, but I did know about it though. The WBA needs a way to keep the lights on, meaning they're going to keep all them fucking titles. They're not going to eradicate shit. They might fuck around and have another damn title before they eradicate anything, but that's what I think about the WBA.
Chisora versus Usyk will definitely happen. October is when the crowd is allowed.
Allowed.
Jupiter B says he thinks Wilder got the heavyweight division back and made it exciting.
Jupiter, I will also have to. Yes, Wilder was a big part of it, but have to AJ and Fury kicked the door down, and he's the one that broke the stranglehold on the Klitschko. Because even though Wilder and Stavern fought for that WBC, and the WBC was vacant because Vitali had, called it a day with his career. Then you had Areola and Stavern fought for it twice. Wilder definitely is a big part of the reason, but I'll also have to, even if I break it down 1A, 1B, 1C, I would say Wilder, Fury, and AJ are all part of that, equally, in my opinion. But Wilder, as far as the excitement, first round KOs, and just the way Wilder was doing his thing with these one-punch knockouts and giving motherfuckers seizures and comas and all that, definitely got to put Wilder in there, hands down.
AJ's more athletic. Frank Bruno, I'm hesitant to say he's back when he faced an unprepared opponent. AJ meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Bryan versus Chris Lovejoy, September 26th.
Hold on. Who said that?
Nathan?
Yeah. Nathan, Lovejoy and Christopher Bryan is official? Is that official? If that's official. Yeah, Chris Lovejoy. If that's official, September 26th. Where at?
Jupiter B says everyone Wilder defended against.
Hold on, time out. Nathan said
he's been on vacation for 2 years.
Nathan said Trevor Bryan been on vacation for 2 years. Nah, but real talk though, I did see Trevor talk about his inactivity a while ago, and a lot of these guys, man, they talk about fights being made, and then for whatever reason, and it depends on who you talk to, because we never know the truth. One guy says, "Oh, they're not going to pay me enough money." Another guy says, "Oh, they're not going to pay me enough money." So, because I know Miller and Bryan tried to get a fight for like the last few years, and both sides say that the money wasn't right or the paperwork wasn't right. But yeah, Trevor has not been in the ring, man. Last time I heard Trevor being in the ring was it BJ Flores fight? Was it the BJ Flores fight? I'm not even trying to be funny. Did he have a fight after that? Somebody go on BoxRec and check. That's the last I heard of Trevor being in the ring. I could be off by a fight, but that's the last I heard of him. Against fucking BJ Flores. The WBA had the nerve. They had the nerve to rank BJ Flores when he fought Trevor Bryan.
Everyone Wilder defended against was ranked top 10 countries with a richer boxing culture and history. It's all in narrative.
Hold on. Everybody that what?
Everyone that Wilder defended against was ranked top 10 from other countries with richer boxing cultures and history. It's all in narrative.
That's Jupiter B. Well, I know they're all at least WBC ranked. And you guys, I've already broke that down, because people say, "Oh, he ain't beat nobody," and then when you look at the people he beat, the person he beat people that people say Wilder ain't fought yet, beat their opponents. So I've already broke that down. All of these dudes, man, especially the opponents that fought the title holders, most of all these dudes are all in the same fucking category, in my opinion. You know what I mean? What's really the difference between fucking Marius Wack and Johan Dubois, or you know what I'm saying, Robert Helenius and Ustinov? And I mean, come on, man, we're we're trying to split hairs. So that's why when it comes to like those opponents, man, I group all them motherfuckers together, to be honest with you. Stormy B man, what's good, bro? Stormy B man in the house, man.
Could you put an end to all this ridiculous chatter, largely from the UK, that Wilder avoided D-ball Dillian, the delusional druggy ducker? Eddie Hearns was using D-ball Dillian as AJ bodyguard.
Look, man, Dillian Whyte, I know he thinks everybody is scared of him. I know he thinks everybody ducks him. I know he thinks that WBC did him so wrong. I know Dillian Whyte thinks a lot of things. I know Dillian Whyte thinks that, hey, I beat Joseph Parker, so I should get a title shot. Hey, I beat Derek Chisora twice, so I should get a title shot. Hey, I beat Marius Wak in Saudi Arabia, so I deserve a title shot. Look,
Didn't he say he was a mandatory?
yeah, then he said he was a mandatory for what, 7,836 days?
Yeah, something.
Some shit like that. He could have fought Dominic Brazil. I know the rebuttal's going to be, no, he couldn't, Mr. Boxing. Dominic Brazil turned it down. Okay, if that's what you believe. Whatever. Then he could have fought Luis Ortiz. I know what the rebuttal's going to be. No, Mr. Boxing. Deontay Wilder doesn't have the say-so to tell him he fight Luis Ortiz, he'll get a title shot. That's what's going to be, a whole bunch of back and forth about that. Yes, I think beating Joseph Parker is a very good win. Yes, I think beating Oscar Rivas is a solid win. But that wasn't the role the WBC gave you for a title shot. They say that you can fight Dominic Brazil. You chose to do otherwise. Regardless of the Chisora rematch, whatever, regardless of your reasons, you chose to do otherwise. Dylan, we're not saying that those aren't good opponents. You just chose to do otherwise, bro. That's like saying, hey, Mr. Boxing, you and your wife, you guys keep walking straight, you'll get $1,000,000. And I say, nah. Yeah, if they say you guys keep walking straight for $1,000,000, you'll get $1,000,000. And I say, nah, I'm gonna just walk straight going backwards for $1,000,000. Hey, I walked straight for, I walked for a mile, where's my $1,000,000? Yeah, motherfucker, we told you to walk straight though. You know what I'm saying? So he was kind of doing his own thing. That's how I perceived it. And that's how I still perceive it to this day. Although Joseph Parker's a good opponent. Rivas is a good opponent. But they told you to fight Brazil and then they presented Ortiz. Or you dig what I'm saying? So he kind of just did his own thing and then went back and say, where's my title shot at? Motherfucker, we didn't tell you to fight them dudes. That's how I look at it. But yeah, Dillian Whyte think everybody's scared of him. And then one more thing about Dillian. I like Dillian, man. He comes to fight. He's entertaining. One thing he won't do is short you on heart. He'll give you everything, right? But then he had an opportunity where AJ, they wanted a rematch with Dillian. Then Dillian said, the money, he said that the money wasn't right. So, dude, you can't just pick and choose and then start complaining when shit don't go your way, when people are presenting you with things to get where you're trying to get. It just don't make no sense to me. But hey, what do I know? I'm just dude on YouTube talking shit. What's the next question?
Who would win, Joshua or Fury from EA?
Joshua or Fury? Well, let me keep it real with you, man. A few years ago, I thought that for sure that Joshua and Wilder will be able to beat Tyson Fury. Now, in the last about year and a half, 2 years, I'm gonna go with Tyson Fury, man. I know what you're gonna say. You're a Wilder fan, so yes, I am a Wilder fan. I'm also a fan of Joshua and Fury, but I think Fury, just his movement is just a motherfucker, man. And I think that he will make AJ the aggressor. And I think if AJ's gonna try to come in there and throw combinations and let combos go, he's gonna be missing too. And I think Fury will do a good job of countering him. And he's strong enough to wrap Joshua up. I'm not talking about who has the better physique. I'm talking about physicality. So I don't want you guys to think, oh, but he has more muscle. Physicality, man. All that muscle and shit don't mean nothing. And Fury weighs more. He's bigger than AJ. I think he'll be able to wrap him up. AJ's he's a pretty decent for a big man. Obviously, he wasn't better than Ruiz at this, but for a big 6'6" guy, he's not that bad of a mid-range, up-close type of fighter. Not the best I've ever seen. He's not on Riddick Bowe's level as far as being able to throw combos from close quarters and work on the inside and turn and pivot. But to me, he generates the most power when he's kind of mid-range, kind of close with you. Hooks and uppercuts, you know what I mean? But I think Fury can offset all that, man. And I think Fury is tough. He know how to use his weight on you. Man, I'll favor Fury. Would I be shocked or surprised if AJ were to beat him? No. But I would favor Tyson Fury in that fight, at least a solid 2-1. I'll be comfortable with a solid 2-1. I think he can out jab AJ. Better movement, better hand speed. I'll give the power advantage to AJ. Defense, I'll give the Fury. I think Fury's a better all-around fighter than Anthony Joshua. Somebody said AJ's chinny.
No, I
Oh,
said
my wife thinks the Josh was chinny.
Small Odd says White cheated in that Rivas fight. Questions about his gloves and he was doped up. Rivas got cheated.
Yeah, the way they did, look, and I know people gonna say, well, in the UK, the protocol is, I don't give a fuck what the protocol is, man. To not let your opponent know that the glove situation is weird, and then that there was a drug test that was faulty. That's fucked up, man. I know, but Mr. Boxing in the UK, I don't care what the just because that's the protocol don't mean it is that the shit's right. You dig what I'm saying? And this is why when people try to talk that morality shit about, not all, but I've seen some fans, well, I seen an article on Boxing Scene rather, and they're talking about morality about the Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones fight. Man, miss me all that moral shit when you got shit like this going on in boxing. Not even the opponent doesn't even get to know about the drug test. What? Until after the fight, they do the switcheroo with the gloves. That is crazy, man. That is crazy as hell.
Rivas versus Taco.
Mm. Experience versus youth. Rivas versus Taco. Taco had to dig deep in his last fight with Jerry Forrest. Out hustled him, so that shows that the older guy still got some hustle in him, the way Povetkin does. Um, Usually in fights like this, I go with the younger guy. And Rivas, that Dillian Whyte fight was still close. You know what I mean? I know Rivas, as long as his eye is good, because I know he's been having eye problems. Obviously, he was able to get in there with Whyte, so I'll probably edge Rivas in that one. I think he's just the fresher of the two. I think Takum's a little bit more fluid. Yo, Takum, man, around the time he fought Povetkin, Takum was tough, man. He's still tough, but, and I don't say this with disrespect, I say it because this is what I've seen when I watch him. He almost seemed like around the time he fought Povetkin, he was like a watered down version of an older James Toney. Because he was slippery, he was using a shoulder roll, the Philly shell, catching, countering with powerful hooks and uppercuts. That Povetkin Takum fight's a good fight. But anyways, I would favor Rivas in that fight.
Perkovic is back September 26th. I could see him facing someone like Hammer or Washington.
Philippe Perkovic, my favorite prospect of the 2016 Olympics. A guy who I did a video on in 2014. And 2014, I said that he'll be a heavyweight champion one day when he was this one he was an amateur. I like Philippe, man. I know a lot of guys get on him. They don't think he's the goods. They don't think this. They don't think that. But shit, man, a lot of these guys didn't look like they were going to be the next anything, right? Fury, when he had hair, he was coming up struggling against the McDormand's and the Nikolai Furtas and all that, having wars with them. You know, you thought that he had a long way to go, right? When I seen Wilder coming up in his first 12, 13 fights, I thought he had a long way to go. I actually thought Wilder at one point would probably be a cruiserweight. You know what I mean? I've been wrong about Wilder with a lot of stuff. But I like to see Philippe. I can't wait to see Philippe Perkovic back, man. So it's good that he'll be back.
Mike Thompson says Wilder was out of breath round 3 onwards. Nothing to do with gloves, heads, or magic spells.
Well, I'm not here to say that any of those other things had or didn't have anything to do with anything, but what I will say is he looked black the days ago. He looked lethargic. He looked very slow. He looked haggard when the fight began, in my opinion. I should have went live. Did I go live? No, I went live after he got knocked down.
Yeah.
I should have went live right when the fight first started with that Wilder and Fury rematch, but I ended up going live after he got knocked down. But I would have told you because when the fight came on, I was like, damn, that jab is slow. He hit Fury with a good right hand. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just Wilder just didn't look right. Fury did his thing. He won the fight. But he just looked super slow. Maybe that 230 pounds has something to do with it. Still look chiseled than a motherfucker, you know what I mean? But maybe Wilder does just need to come in at that, like, you know, the high teens. You know what I mean? Like that 217, 218 weight.
Jupiter B says Cotto was out of breath round 3 against Margarito. Had something to do with gloves, heads,
Jupiter on that glove.
magic spells. Y'all been wrong for decades. No difference now.
And then one thing about Cotto, man, he got his redemption in that Margarito fight. I actually watched that fight last week, that second fight. He beat the dog shit out of Margarito and then looked at him at the end of the fight like, what, motherfucker? I know you cheated me that first time. Cotto's able to get Cotto's able to get his redemption. Regardless of what we think what happened in the first fight, the second fight, there's a third fight. And Wilder and his team, whatever they think behind the scenes, if they have the same mindset that a lot of fans have, that they think Fury cheated, Wilder and his team need to do what they need to take, every precaution they need to take, whether it's looking at the gloves, whatever they think behind the scenes, they need to make sure they take full advantage of righting them wrongs, man. And then the biggest thing is Wilder has to get in the ring and beat Fury. See, I'm not the type of fan, yo, where I'm trying to get wins erased and all that type of shit, man. Like, uh, Wilder gonna have to go in there and take care of business. In devastating fashion. In that order.
Hennessy 86 says
You
he
gonna walk back
was
over here?
carrying too much weight. Yeah. And Mike Thompson says there's always an excuse.
Yeah, when any fighter loses, he has some type of excuse. No, no, no. Yeah. Every fighter has an excuse when they lose. And then the fighter will tell you no excuses and then tell you an excuse. I've seen that shit happen on HBO on Showtime for years. Like, damn, bro, I thought you said there was no excuses. But the third fight's coming up, man. Like, we can go back and forth all day about this, that, and the third. The third fight is coming up. So that's what he'll get his time at redemption right there. It's kind of, like I always say, well, it is what it is, man. That third fight coming up, and we'll go from there.
Kamal Oz says Wilder needs to take up George Foreman on his offer. I heard George called him, but that's not enough. Jupiter B says it's not about a loss, who cares? It's about how corrupt boxing is.
Yeah, boxing's been corrupt all the time, and that's the thing. I'll never put nothing past anything happening in boxing. Boxing's corrupt in a motherfucker.
Who is the best boxer you have ever seen through your lifetime with your own eyes fighting in the ring?
As far as going to the fight and watching the fight, okay.
Just seeing in boxing your favorite fighter or whatever, in your opinion.
Well, live, as far as live, the best two boxers I've ever seen live, watching them going to a fight, is Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. The best boxers I've ever seen with my own eyes, through watching TV and all that type of shit, will be Ali and Holmes and Foreman. Yes, I've seen Sweet Pea fight. I know people probably gonna get on me for this, but man, this is such a tough question. I mean, yeah, I've seen Sweet Pea, I've seen Floyd, I've seen Roy, but Larry, I don't know, man. I'm super biased, bro. But Ali and Holmes and Foreman, and I'm biased in the motherfucker, but just the hand speed, just the intangibles they got to not only when fights are just going your way, because everybody looks great when they're fighting downhill, right? What I mean by fighting downhill is you just look spectacular. A highlight reel type of victories. You know what I mean? When the shit just looks super easy. Yeah, I'm talking about when it gets tough. And see, some people give more credit to guys that get off the canvas, guys that you can see that they're losing rounds 1 through 7, and then they come back from adversity to win fights. Holyfield was great at doing that type of shit. But Larry Holmes, man, was just on a different level, in my opinion. And then in all their fights, especially like Holmes, people were just waiting for Holmes to fall off. And then when he did beat the up and coming guys, the undefeated guys they were throwing in there against him, from the David Bays to all the undefeated guys that they were throwing for him to fight, the Tim Witherspoons of the world. You know what I mean? He was taking care of them all, man, and they just wasn't giving him his props, wasn't giving him respect, saying that he was fighting in a weak era. You know the shit they say about fighters when they dominate their era. He ain't fight nobody. That's why when they say the shit about Wilder, it's like, yeah, that sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. He ain't fight nobody. That sounds very familiar. That's what they said about Larry Holmes. And then when you tell people that, you can't compare him to Larry Holmes. Why can't I compare him to Larry Holmes? They're saying the same exact thing. Talk about his skinny legs. The same thing they talk about with Larry. Larry Holmes. They literally said it about Larry. He had skinny legs. That's what Larry Merchant said in one of the broadcasts. I'm sitting there like, you look at the motherfucker's legs. What about his hands? You know what I mean?
Stormy B Man says your thumbnail pic statue looking like Teddy P
Teddy P.
dress. There's
Turn
no.
off the lights. Turn them off. Shout out to Teddy P, man.
Do you think Tyson
Shit,
is
that's a
overrated?
compliment, man. Teddy P was the
Yeah.
man back in that day, man.
Yes, he was. Do you think Tyson is overrated? They say Klitschko is a fake champion, but Tyson in the 80s was fighting bums. You gotta
Nah,
admit.
bro. Who said that?
Tom.
Tom, bro. You got to stop the. He was. See, I was. This is what I was just talking about. When somebody dominates their era, there's always somebody say he was fighting bums. No, bro. They wasn't bums, man. He just made a lot of them look like bums. Klitschko. Now, if you want to say that Klitschko have the best era, then that's another argument. But to say a guy's fighting bums, that's just his era, man. Now what I didn't like about the Klitschko era was this, and I've been saying this forever. I think it's excellent that two brothers were able to dominate one division. That's awesome. That's great. But the only thing I hated about their era was it was 1A and 1B. And I am not a believer in the two-headed monster 1A, 1B. I want to know who number one is, not who the top two guys are, but who's the number one guy. So technically, I'm talking about technically, the top two guys never fought each other in their era. But Mr. Boxing, they're brothers. Like, no. And technically, the two top heavyweights in their era didn't get to fight each other. But they're brothers. I know. But I'm right, though. I guess we're both right. Um, and I always thought that Vitaly Klitschko was the better of the brother. I thought just when it came down to chin, and when it came, I think his chin was better. And people say Vladimir was a better athlete. It's like, shit, how they figure that? Like, based off what did they play like other sports that I didn't see him compete in, and he was dominating? Because from the boxing standpoint, Vitaly seemed way more fluid. He could fight with his hands. Vladimir was able to fight with his hands down too later on. But Vitaly could fight with his hands down. He could move. He could bend at the waist. He wasn't all awkward and stiff the way Vladimir was to me. So when people say this, he was more fluid and a better athlete of the two. I be looking like, well, you could say his physique was better, but I don't see all that. I didn't see all that other shit.
Kamal Oz says, I'm just not sold that Wilder should stand pat, supplement the team with Foreman, McGirt, Ronnie Shields, or Pedro Diaz, add one of those men to teach him something new.
You can add Stacey McKinley in there, and you can add Ali Bashir in there as well.
Nick
Um,
Hennessy, Shades of Ali says thick legs is a standard for greatness.
Thick legs are a standard for greatness.
Yeah. That's why you've never been great? Is
I guess, man. I guess. Well, shit. If that's the case, that means that Larry Holmes and Deontay Wilder broke that barrier. So that should also. So if the standard for greatness is thick legs, then what did that say when somebody like Holmes and Wilder does something great? That makes them what? But this leg theory is crazy,
That's
man.
what Jupiter B says. He says, why are men obsessed with other
Yeah,
men's
like
legs?
look at
No
his
one
legs
finds that
though.
strange.
It's like, then look how he knocked that dude out. Yeah, yeah. But look at his legs. Like that doesn't make any sense to me, man.
Tom says, come on, bro. Trevor Burbick, come on. He went 12 rounds with Bone Crusher Smith, who's a journeyman.
Yeah, bro, and yeah, he was a journeyman that held a world title. That journeyman you just said, Bone Crusher Smith, held a world title. Trevor Burbick was a good boxer. Have you ever seen Trevor Burbick versus Larry Holmes? Go check that fight out and tell me you think Trevor Burbick's a bum. Is Trevor Burbick Joe Louis? No. Is he going to be remembered like Rocky Marciano? No. But was he a journeyman bum? No. No. Paul Butlin. Shouts out to Paul Butlin. That's more of a journeyman type guy. You don't hold world titles, man, and be able to compete and go full rounds with top heavyweights in the 80s, you know what I mean, and get called a bum. I guess everybody got different opinion, or their different definition about what a bum is.
Stormy B-Man says James Toney knocked him out in sparring, so I don't know if Nick Hennessy, Shades of Ali says, but wait, Mr. Boxing today, they're brothers.
They're brothers, but wait, hold on, they're brothers.
In the Game of Thrones, brothers damn right fight each other.
I actually did a video. Shout out to my man Calix Boxing here on Calix. Me and him did a Uvo video collab one time. This was like 2015, 13. This one we live in. What was that? 2013.
2011,
20.
2012.
It was like 2011, 2012. But anyways, we did a video how we think the brothers should fight each other or one of them should retire so we can have just a clear number one, and people got pissed off. You wouldn't fight your brother. Yeah, but me and my brother aren't conquering a division. That's a whole nother video, man. That's a whole
You
nother
would
video.
fight your brother.
Huh?
I said you would fight your brother. Wheelchair Man John says Vlad was the most boring heavyweight to watch ever. D Hodges says Vitaly has no
Well,
dog in him.
well, see, I don't agree with he was the most boring heavyweight to watch ever, man. He was, I mean, that's his opinion. I mean, if that's his opinion, that's his opinion. But I
What's your
disagree.
opinion?
My opinion is he was explosive when he needed to be. Like the Pulev fight wasn't boring. The way he knocked out 80 Chambers, that wasn't boring. You know what I mean? Now, was he grabbing a lot and holding and resting on motherfuckers and using his size to his advantage to win fights? Yeah, but just flat out, just the boringest shit I ever seen in my life. I wouldn't say that. But that's your opinion, bro. And a lot of people think that they wasn't exciting to watch, but there were some exciting moments in his career. Was the Fury Vlad fight exciting to watch? Like, wow, look at the excitement. No,
No.
but every fight wasn't like that. He had some damn good knockouts in his career.
Tom says, what did you think to the 90s era of heavyweight boxing, and do you think we are in the golden era of boxing right now?
Um, I think this is a very good era. When I think of golden era, man, I just put that on the 70s because that's what it was named, and that's just the title that everybody gave the 70s. So I think we need to come up with a new phrase, a new name. So call this motherfucker the platinum era or
Diamond
the
era.
diamond era or something like that. You know what I mean? Call it something else. But the golden era, that to me is just 70s. That's just when I think of golden era, I think of just 70s. So I never say, well, this era was golden as well. I just think that was the golden era to me, in my opinion. The
Okay, do you think
90s,
this era is more good to watch or more better to watch
this
than?
era is still good. So there's still some good fights in this era. I know. Look, man, I know we criticize every damn thing these fighters say they put on Instagram and Facebook and every move they make and every pound they gain. But dude, there's been some good fights, man. Parker versus White was a good fight. Joshua versus White was a good fight. Both the Fury and Wilder fights were exciting to watch. There's been a lot, man. There's been some highlight reel KOs. Dillian Whyte sparking out Lucas Brown. Deontay Wilder got a laundry list of motherfucking KOs. Ruiz versus Joshua, one of the biggest upsets in the history of the sport. Uh, there's been a lot of good fights, man. You dig what I'm saying? Klitschko versus AJ was a damn good fight. A fight that actually picked AJ to win, and people were picking Klitschko because they didn't think AJ had the experience. AJ won that fight. That's another thing that a lot of AJ hate or a lot of AJ fanatics come to my page and forget the fights that I was picking AJ to win when a lot of people were in that fight, they thought he was going to lose. Um, so we've been getting some good fights. The Chisora and White fights were, I'm saying White a lot. Hey, like I like dealing White, man. He
But do you
will
think
bring
there's
it.
just better competition in this era than there was in the golden era in the
The
70s?
70s was packed with some good competition. Uh, as long as the top fighters fight each other like the top fighters in the 70s fought each other, then it's comparable. You know what I mean? It's comparable to, you can compare it to like that. But fighter for fighter, I don't think nobody's better than Ali. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
but as far as the 90s, he asked me about the 90s. The 90s was like that birth of 6'4", 6'5", super athletic guys like the Riddick Bowes and the Lennox Lewises. And I know Tony Tucker was the 80s, but he went over into the 90s, so on and so forth. Andrew Galata,
Jupiter
Michael
Lee
Grant late in the
says
decade.
the excessive holding in wrestling is what makes things boring. Oh, you dominate any era, even the 70s isn't called you overrated.
What else?
Otto Wallin is fighting Travis Kaufman August 15th.
Yep, Otto Wallin versus Kaufman. I talked about that the other day. Um, Kaufman is savvy. He's been in there with some tough guys. He knows how to survive. He wears knee braces, which whenever I see knee braces on a boxer, especially a heavyweight, it makes me kind of like you're getting towards the end because the last thing you want to lose is your mobility. Um, Not that Kaufman moves around the ring historically like he's Larry Holmes or something in his prime, but still though, even the fight he had with Ortiz, I actually was at that fight live when he fought Ortiz on the Wilder Fury undercard. Um, tough, savvy guy. Wallin. Now with Wallin, I'm curious to see how Wallin gonna approach this. Is he gonna is he still drinking the juice from his last fight with Fury? Is he gonna come in trying to walk and stalk and come behind the high guard and turn into this stalk you down guy? Or is he gonna be the Otto Wallin, this kind of fleet-footed that I saw coming up as a prospect when I did a prospect watch video on him? Southpaw that can use some hand speed, turn you a little bit, move you a little bit. He was actually a sparring partner for Anthony Joshua when Joshua was getting ready to fight Charles Martin. You know what I mean? So uh, I like I like Otto Wallin. I'm just curious to see what his approach is going to be. Is he going to be this walk you down behind a high guard guy, or is he going to be move around the ring? But we all know that fans want to see an exciting fighter. What they deem as exciting is a guy that comes forward. So curious to see how Wallin handles Kaufman. Is there a super chat?
Yeah, there is from Seen and Unseen.
Appreciate that $5 holla from my man Seen and Unseen Boxing. He says, salute to the heavyweight king, my brother Mr. Boxing today too. Salute to you, man. Salute to all y'all for showing up, man.
Tom says, do you think American grassroots boxing is dead? I'm from the UK and boxing over here is huge. MMA seems to be the craze over here. I feel for you Americans.
Nah, don't feel for us, bro. How many American world champions are there right now? I forgot. I think my man Blood Boxing. Shouts out to Retro Sports and Documentaries. But I think the last time he talked about this, or was it BFTB? It was one of them brothers where they did a breakdown of all it was first. That was like a year ago though. I'm not for sure right now, top of my head. Y'all know I pay attention to the heavyweights mainly, but nah, man, everything's good over here, bro. The thing about over here is we got the NBA and NFL, which is just huge over here. And I know you're from the UK, and I know you can baseball, and I know you see the shit on TV and the internet. But till you're over here, you really see how big a LeBron James is, and you know Tom Brady, and all these other sports. It's just boxing is kind of like, oh, that sport. You dig what I'm saying? But nah, boxing is good over here, man. It's good.
Stormy D-Man says,
Got the Charlo brothers, got Spence, Crawford. I mean, boxing's good, bro. Deontay Wilder, so on and so forth. Shouts out to Barbershop's Conversation, man. I seen uh, Gary Russell Jr. on there last night talking spicy. He wants smoke with everybody. Devin Haney, he said he broke Terrence Crawford's jaw. That I like that, man. Shouts out to Fred. That was a damn good interview. Devin Haney's dad actually called in and chimed in, and all three of them were chopping it up. You know what I mean? So, nah, man, boxing is beautiful over here, man. Now, do we get crowds that sing "Sweet Caroline" in unison, and there's 90,000 people? No, but that's just not our vibe like that, bro. That's y'all's vibe. Y'all get down like that, and that's cool. I was actually a part of that vibe when we went to the Fury Wilder fight. I was actually sitting in the UK section. So I get it. I get it. It's cool. That's just really not our vibe like that. That ain't really our twist like that. But no, everything cool over here.
are you going to watch Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Square Garden fights?
I'm watching all
What
boxing.
do you think of the fights in front of the Mansion House?
The fights in front of the mansion, kind of weird, especially based off, look, man, I got to keep it 100 with you. I'm not going to sit here and lie, man. When his father said that shit about they used to be slave owners and slave drivers back in the day, and Dillian Whyte was sitting there like laughing about the shit. Look, bro, I know what you're gonna say, but Mr. Boxing, he didn't mean it that way, Mr. Nah, man.
He meant it that way.
That shit look crazy. So now when I hear in front of their house, I think of like Mandingo fights or some shit off of like
Yep.
the Django type fights and shit. I don't know, man.
To the death and all that
Yeah,
shit.
it just kind of. I know you, but Mr. Boxing, you're making it into something. Nah, man. When I hear his dad talk like that, man, that shit didn't sit well with me, man. I got to call him Mr. White now, because we used to be like slave driver. What?
Okay.
I don't know. That shit didn't sit well with me, man. So, um, because I'm a fight fan, and I'll get to watch it for free, I will watch the fight. Like if Povetkin and Dillian Whyte fight in front of his house or on the basketball court, wherever the fuck they're supposed to fight, on the front steps, I'll watch it. But Barry, I don't know, that shit just don't sit well with me, man. To this day,
But you know he's a racist.
that shit don't sit well with me.
Yeah. Okay. So who do you have out of Dubois and Joyce?
Dubois and Joyce. Who said that question?
Hennessy 86.
Hennessy 86 says who I got between Dubois and Joyce. Well, first, congratulations to Joe Joyce for going in there and getting rid of Michelle Wallace. Now it is Daniel Dubois' turn. He's in there with Eric Pfeiffer. It might not be just the easiest walkover fight, but we will see. Pfeiffer's a two-time Olympian. He's a big, durable guy. He's been in there with Anthony Joshua and Tony Yoka in the amateurs, so on and so forth. European champion, all that great shit, right? Um, I'm gonna go. Well, let me see what Daniel Dubois comes in at with his weight. I want to see what his approach is in his fight with his weight, because Joyce was 270 pounds, man. So I'm gonna see if Dubois, if if he's taking this fight like this his last fight. You know what I mean? Taking it super serious like that. But I will go with Dubois, man, because Joyce's hand speed concerns me. But Mr. Boxing, he was able to get a silver in the amateurs. His hand speed must not be that bad. His hand speed bothers me. His durability is good. I think he has good thudding power. I think he is going to come to win, but also knows he's getting up there in age. I also know that Daniel Dubois seems like the quicker, just a fresher guy. Although that Joyce's career isn't, he hasn't had a long career, but he's still 30 something. You know what I mean? And I just think when they get in there and start changing, when they start exchanging punches, I think Dubois is going to land often and land first. I think I'm going to beat him to the punch most of the time. You know what I mean? Mike Thompson, yes, I know everyone is not racist, but that was some racist. Well, I'm not sure where you're coming from with your comment. Well, look, if that's for me, bro, just at me. But if you're talking to somebody else, I'm not sure if you're talking to me or whoever. Uh, you said if it was outside of Don King's house, what I say is racist. Uh, what the fuck does that got to do with what Barry Hearn said? See, look, bro, you
Did you
can't.
see the interview? Did you
Yeah,
see
you
what he
can't
said?
look. I'm the wrong guy to try to play that trick on, man. What I did here was Barry Hearn say it. He said the shit. He said, I'm not gonna get into that. What's the next question? Look, bro, I'm not gonna argue with you, man. Salute from come to showing up to the channel. But if you don't see any wrong in that, then ain't nothing I can teach you, bro. Let's walk this way.
I don't know. There's not really no
Dan the man
question.
boxing, what's good, brother? My man Dan the man up in here.
Dan the man says, true or false, did Wilder fire Mark Breland? If so, it's a mistake, in my opinion.
I have no clue, man. Only thing I've heard was just gossip and rumor about the Mark Breland thing. I'm not sure yet. So, and this is why I've been saying I want to hear from Wilder bad, man. I know his homeboy was it Tay Jones or Tay Johnson, whatever that cat name is, part of Wilder. It's cool to hear from him. Cool. Great. I want to hear
Okay,
from
yeah.
Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? That's what I want to hear from. Is Deontay.
My phone died.
Oh, your phone died. Well, my white phone died, so I'm going to have to read these joints. Architect 1, what's good, brother? The J. Rules Theory, what it do? So Demon says, if Joyce can make the fight at close range, it'll be difficult for Dubois. Yeah, bro, he gonna have to smother him, and he already punches slow, right? So it's not like it's going to hinder his hand speed. So I do agree with that. If he can get it in close, make it grimy, hold with one hand, work the off hand, walk him backwards, tangle with him, turn into that type of muddy grudge type thing, then I'll give Joyce a better chance. But if they're at any type of distance and range, bro, I think Dubois gonna get him because he gonna land first and often. You know how it is, Stormy. You didn't train and train fighters, bro. You know how it is that speed kills, man. And I know timing can kill speed, right? That's what Tarver. That's why he always had Roy's number. I know Mr. Boxing Roy moved down from heavyweight, right? But I just think Tarver always would have. That's kind of a. I shouldn't use that one example because Roy's speed was going. But I'm just saying timing. Timing can kill speed. But Joyce is so damn slow with his punches, man. I'm not sure how he'll fare with Dubois. But he has some experience on the kid. I will say that. But Joyce just showed me he could fight. He fights at one speed. And that's some consistency for your ass, right? Fighting at that speed at all times. But
But in the Joyce fight that we watched the other night, he did like pick it up at the end and
yeah,
stuff.
my
But
wife made a good point. Joyce did show some spots where he picked it up, especially with those body shots. I think if he can work Dubois' body, man, and really pound his body, it could be a tough road for Dubois. But Dubois showed me in the Kevin Johnson fight that he won't just go out there gunning for just knockouts. He'll sit behind his jab and put on his hard hat and give a workman-like performance to get the job done. So I think it's a good style matchup, man. To be honest with you. Mike Thompson has a boxing question out here. He says, Joyce has that slow, consistent power that breaks you down. Yes, he does. Like, that's what I say. He's very consistent at fighting at that speed. You know what I mean? But the thing is, he is there to be hit, and he's there to be hit very hard. Very, very hard. And Jennings had them opportunities, couldn't take advantage of them. Stavern just passed it now, couldn't take advantage of it. Dubois is a kid that can take advantage of that. You know what I mean? Kevin Johnson was slippery in there, making it hard for Dubois to land shots and all that shit he was trying to do. So he had to slow it down, use his jab, and work like that. Thing about Joyce, at least from what I've seen of him historically, he's gonna give you opportunities to hit him. He gives you a lot of opportunities, man. But Joyce just one of them motherfuckers, man, where you can't count him out, man, because he's got this far for a reason. But just, man, that's why, you know, and I brought this up in my last live when Floyd Mayweather once said it always looked different from the outside, because he was talking about his defense and how it looks like, oh, I could just do this to that shell defense and break him. Now I could do that. And Floyd said, man, it looks different from the outside. I take that same type of mind frame with Joe Joyce, where it might look slow from the outside, but when you get him in the ring, them punches maybe come a little bit quicker. Maybe them punches come quicker when you're actually in there with them. But watching that shit on TV, bro, I thought my TV was glitching. Seriously. I literally thought that. I'm not even trying to be funny like Mr. Boxing. No, I mean, I literally thought my Apple TV box was glitching. He was throwing so slow in that last fight with Michelle Wallace. Of course, medals count. Of course, your medal count. But look, just because he got a silver medal doesn't mean that my eyes aren't seeing somebody punch slow. Some fans, man, you guys take like a criticism of a fighter as if like I think that fighter's the trashiest fighter. No, I just think he punches. I think he punches the fastest. That's all. You can still win fights. You can still win fights. George Foreman didn't punch the fastest, but he's still one of my favorite fighters of all time. You know what I mean? Like, it's a fact that I saw him punching slow, bro. And yes, he still won silver. Deontay Wilder won his last fight. Right. That's a fact. Deontay Wilder doesn't fight the most textbook style, but he's still gonna go down as one of the best heavyweights to do it. You know what I mean? So just because I'm criticizing a guy, man, doesn't mean, look, I'm criticizing these guys at the elite status of heavyweight boxing. I'm not criticizing these guys like he ain't better than that dude standing right there, or that dude over by the, you know, I'm late to Joe Blow. You know what I mean? These are elite level top heavyweights, man. I will say that, Jupiter B. Now, for you fans to say, just ask me, oh, medals don't count. Make them count all the time, though, bro. So if you ever get another argument and somebody asks you about a medal that a fighter won, because if medals count, they gotta always count, right? So Deontay Wilder's bronze medal gotta count. You know what I mean? If medals count, make it count for everybody. That's all I'll say. Yeah, Renee Boxing, I forget, man. Nowadays, if you criticize a guy, even if it's a constructive criticism, you've been watching tape for hours and hours, breaking down a guy's style, it's called hating. You know, and I'm not hating the dude, man. I'm just telling you what I see. I mean, what you want me to lie? What you want me to lie and say Joyce is the fastest puncher? Joyce has hand speed like Joseph Parker? You want me to lie and say that Joyce has hand speed like Andrew Ruiz on the inside? You want me to lie to you? My opinion, the spirit of Ogun about Larry Merchant saying the last black hope, I think he's full of shit, is what I think. And Larry Merchant has been full of shit for decades on ESPN, or not ESPN, but HBO. But Mr. Boxing, he helped Joe Frazier get his career off the ground. He's been full of shit for the last decades on HBO. But Mr. Boxing, he was a part of great moments on HBO when fights were happening. And he was saying a lot of bullshit on HBO. You know what I mean? So and that just sounds so stupid, the last black hope. But then when he was the champion for 10 title defenses, you didn't give him credit. And then when he finally loses, here comes everybody with the woodwork. See, I told you. But when he was winning fights and defending the title, or he ain't fight, it's look, man. For some fighters, bro, it's just a lose lose. It don't matter who they fight, how many defenses. It just don't matter for some fighters, man. It just don't matter. Hennessy 86 says, "What do you make of the Roy Jones versus Tyson fight?" I did a video about that yesterday. So I advise you just to go check that one out, bro. But just in a nutshell, it's not affecting. I know Jupiter being here, Jupiter about to disagree like a motherfucker, but it's not affecting Anthony Joshua. It's not affecting any of the sanctioning body titles. It's not affecting the IBF rankings. It's not affecting the Wilder Fury third fight. It's not affecting Andy Ruiz. It's not affecting Dillian Whyte. It's not affecting any mandatory. They're not affecting the heavyweight division. So if they want to fight in a Legends League or who's the champion between themselves or whatever, let them go ahead and do it, man. They're two legends. People saying it's a circus. No, what I think is a circus is Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. You know what I mean? Um, that's what I think a circus is. If fucking Larry Holmes came back and fought a rhino or some ridiculous shit or something like that, that to me is a circus. But this is in the realm of boxing. It's 8 rounds, 12-ounce gloves. Yes, they're in their 50s. Yes, I care about their health, but I care about their health as much as I care about Charlo versus Rosario or any other fucking fighters that are out there fighting. But they're in their 50s. But this is what they're born and bred to do. Man, I seen Roy did an interview and he was saying that, hey man, this is what I do, man. I'm born and bred to do this. You know what I mean? And these dudes probably always had the itch to want to get back in there and fight. They're fighters, man. You know what I mean? So, and just short with it is not affecting anybody. So I have no problem with it. You know what I mean? Stormy B Man said Dubois versus Joyce should be called the Monster Mash. Seen and unseen boxing says 10 title defenses and he ain't. My dad just texted me. uh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Stormy. Frankenstein. That's why I laughed about it versus the Mummy. Hey, yo, I'm gonna jump off here, man. Just pull the house, man. So I'm about to do some basketball stuff with my boys, man. But I'm gonna be back. Let me see one more. Tom says, okay, so over here, Mr. Boxing, we have white collar boxing, which is basically people off the street fighting in boxing range for charity. What's your opinion on that? They get an 8-week training. Can't I see? Uh, so over here we have like, look, man. As long as if it's two novice dudes fighting against each other, I'm all good with that. As long as there ain't no pros trying to fight some novice or some shit like that. My boys back there going at it, man. Let me get back here, man. Get this workout going. They back there fight, playing ball, man. But go live tomorrow, man. Y'all be good. I'm gone. Break these boys up.